I am here today with an award-winning multi-instrumental international recording artist, producer, composer, writer, actor, model, and philanthropist. That is a mouthful. The one-man band himself, Craig Thumper Samuels. Thumper, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a total honor and a pleasure to be here.
It is my honor, my pleasure. We've had a conversation before, talked about a number of things. One of the intriguing ones for me is you were born in Omaha, Nebraska,
Correct.
and you made the wagon train trip to the Sunshine Coast, to LA. What made you do that? Why would you make a transition from a place like Omaha to a place like LA?
Well, the primary reason is that the music industry has a lot better opportunities out here. I was born and raised in Omaha. I started playing when I was about 4, and I got to the point where I was doing the same things over and over and over again and not getting anywhere.
Right.
So most of the industry people on the LA side, the New York side, they won't come to Omaha for really anything. I mean, they've got so many musicians, so much talent here in their own backyard,
Right.
that why spend the extra expense coming to Omaha, which is a very, very, very small town compared to LA, when they have stuff in their backyard.
Right.
So I said, well, there's no way I'm going to get anywhere beyond the ceiling that I hit in Omaha unless I get out. And like I said, I got tired of swimming in that fishbowl over and over and over again and decided to move out here to LA. I was thinking about New York, but it was too cold because I was dealing with the cold in Omaha. So I said,
Yes.
Let me move to LA. And ever since I got out of here, things are coming out of the woodwork.
That's fantastic. So even in this modern age where everything is technology, people send in their videos and stuff, all of it is online. The music industry is still face to face. The music industry is still in your face, so that you have to be where the music is. You can't simply be electronically where the music is. It is still that old style of "Hi, I'm me, welcome handshake."
Right. Well, from the live performance standpoint,
right.
That's the digital side and the social media has helped me tremendously. The internet and all of that. But still, that wasn't enough, because, like I said, when comes to live performance, you can't do a live performance, FaceTime and all of that can only do so much. You can't interact. And I wanted to be out here with all of that,
Right. So one of the other things we touched on, the beginnings of your music when you were young. Was it jazz, or if I recall correctly, it was something else that triggered your musical desires to actually be a part of music, and it had nothing to do with jazz?
Right. It was the genre of noise.
I don't think kids would appreciate being called noise, though, would they?
Well, I take that wholeheartedly, because when I first started playing, my parents were doing this, and it was noise, but they didn't distract me. They didn't discourage me. They supported me wholeheartedly. And one day they kind of took is that music? And the lights turned on, the whole switch turned, and they were thinking, well, this is going to pay off, or this is going to blossom, so to speak.
Right.
And I started on the pots and pans, and just kind of took it from there.
You started drumming. You started with the percussion of pots and pans.
Exactly.
And you moved on to your first instrument was?
For the clarinet.
Oh, it was the clarinet.
Yeah. My mom, I have 2 older brothers.
Right.
And my mom always wanted us to try something. And my oldest brother tried it and didn't like it. My middle brother tried it and didn't like it. And so the clarinet was kind of a hand-me-down. And I took to it, gravitated towards it, started, basically as my second instrument, and just took it from there. And they said, well, since he seems to like it, we'll keep it in the family. And And then I picked up the tenor sax shortly after that.
Okay, so with the clarinet, what musical genre were you playing? Because I know Detroit Rock City doesn't play well on a clarinet, as far as I know.
You know, it was mainly just the getting used to the sounds and the ability to play it.
Okay.
I didn't get into the actual music side of it until I was about 7 or 8. And that's when Kiss came aboard with the makeup, and I was like, wow, that's what I want to do, you know.
Right. So with the tenor sax, then you were playing Kiss music with the tenor sax. Is that what
Right,
you were?
right. And shortly after that, I picked up bass guitar.
Right.
And then because the Gene Simmons, he kind of had a very, very big impact. But it was rock and roll then.
Right.
And then I switched over to jazz a little bit later.
So when was that transition? What was the impetus to get you to move from rock and roll to jazz? Because there is a wide gulf between the two, somewhat. Because I know you have a project coming that potentially you'll be getting Detroit Funk City going as opposed to Detroit Rock City. But where was that transition? What triggered you to go, you know what, rock and roll, I'm going to go to jazz?
Well, it wasn't that I wanted to switch. It was more like I wanted to add, so because I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I started with the clarinet, and I added instruments to that. And at the same time, I added genres to, because I didn't want to keep myself in one little bitty box.
Right.
I wanted to expand. I wanted to see how many doors were in the house, so to speak. And I wanted to, open every last one of them to see what was inside and where that particular room would take me. And I just expanded. I do classical, I do R&B, I do jazz, I do gospel. You name it, I do it. Blues, all of it, just to expand my horizons, because I wanted the biggest fan base I can reach.
Right. Have you thought of doing fusion? Have you done any fusion work
I've done some fusion work. Yeah, right. I've done some fusion work. And I've mixed some different genres,
right?
And that's where the ozone sound came from.
I was going to ask you about that. That you have this specialty, the ozone, and that is a sound quality that when you listen to a lot of your music, you hear it sort of as something that ties it all together. It has a very unique quality to it all the way through most of your work, and there's a lot of it out there. Yeah. So it's interesting to see a tie that binds everything together. Talk to me more about ozone. Tell me where it came from and what it entails. Where did it in your head? Yeah. What is it?
Sure. The ozone is Omaha, Nebraska. And that's where, like I said, everything was created. That's where I started. And I wanted a signature sound or a unique sound that could identify with me. Right. Again, Prince had the Minneapolis sound. Berry Gordy had the Motown sound. And like I said, I'm sure there's a few others. Yeah. But I took on the task of creating the ozone sound. And that's a sound that just comes from Omaha, Nebraska.
Right. It's that unique part of your heart that's still there, or that was there, that music came from, correct?
Oh, yeah. My heart is still there. Like I said, I just got to the bubble, and I couldn't expand it anymore. So I had to bust it and get out of it and start a bigger bubble. But I'll always represent, Omaha, Nebraska, and that will always be my starting point, my home, and where the legacy began.
Right. Have you ever gone back and played in a venue in Omaha?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I was just this is October. Back in August of this year, right. I went back to an Omaha Music Legends tribute. Oh. And we honored some of the musicians that had come before us. Some were still living, some of us had passed on, but we did a concert in honor of them. And I performed a song called The Schmoove Groove. And And then my uncle on my dad's side, my dad's brother, both brothers. One of them played piano, the other one played saxophone, and they gave him a plaque. And I was lucky enough to give the speech and bring him on stage with me and award him the plaque.
Wow, that's very special.
That was yeah, and I'm planning on doing some stuff going back home as much as I can to showcase what I've done to represent Omaha in the best way possible.
Right. Did you take professional training, or has this all been done by ear? You played on your own, you learned on your own from other artists. How did you get your skills?
Just on my own. I had some music theory when I was coming through junior high and high school. But from that point, I just picked up all of the instruments that I played just on my own. Yeah, I built my, I've got 2 recording studios. One of them is still back in Omaha, and the other one is out here in LA.
So is it the Thumpin' Hard Records in Omaha, or is it your United for Love Entertainment that's in Omaha?
Which one? Both of them. The United for Love Entertainment is the entertainment company.
Okay.
And Thumpin' Hard Records is the record label, but both studios are under the Thumpin' Hard Records label.
Ah, okay.
And
okay.
I can work in either studio and transfer the files from one to the other, so they're intergalactically connected. So I could work from either point,
right,
and produce.
Fantastic. So I know that you said you got your bass when you were young. Who was the one who bought you your bass? Because I believe there was a story around you getting your first bass.
Correct. My mom bought me my very first bass. And the story is that I was struggling very, very hard in math. And I believe it was pre-algebra at the time, or something close to pre-algebra, algebra or something. And she made a deal with me. She said, if you pass math, I will buy you a bass. And at first I thought it was a joke. And, I said, are you serious? And she said, yeah. And I worked and worked and worked and got that passing grade. It wasn't an A, but I did pass math. And we got that final grade. And she said, okay, come on, let's go get it. And to this day, that still blows me away, because she saw the determination in my music, and she wanted me to have that same determination in not only math, but anything that I did. Right. And that was kind of her incentive to, to help me push through that last lap on the track, so to speak.
Right. And has that been something that you've then taken to heart in everything that you do? That, you're not going to give up, because there's always a reward at the end. There's always going to be something at the end, and you just don't give it up. You're not going to go, no, I'm not that good at it. I'm not going to do it. You're sort of determined to move things forward. Yeah,
very, very much so. And I do that. I impact that same philosophy on my students. In friends and family and everyday life. I have a slogan, if you will, called Phanayo Daegu. And it's called, it means failure is not an option. Don't ever give up.
Right.
And it's kind of like a Kuna Matata, but it's a little more sexy. You know what I mean? So whenever somebody gets in that struggle, Phanayo Daegu, they what? And I said, think about it. Failure is not an option. Don't ever give up.
I see. You've done it with the letters Phanayo Daegu. I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought you were speaking another language and you hadn't yet given me that little piece of wisdom, but no, it's just, it's the anagram.
Yeah. So it is another language. It's the language of the Samuels. It's the Samuels language.
It's Thumper language. It's Thumper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like I said, I apply that philosophy to anything that I know of anybody that's doing.
Right.
Be art, books, movies, film, whatever it is. I just don't like to see people give up.
Right.
Especially, in their dreams and their hopes and the goals.
Well, that kind of brings me to one of two of your nonprofits. You have a scholarship program for musical artists, I believe, for students.
Correct. Yep. It's called Our Stars of Tomorrow. And basically what I do is I write a song each year, and the profits from that song go to scholarships for high school seniors who don't have enough, financial income, so to speak, to go to college.
Right.
And it's starting out now, but I plan for it to grow exponentially.
Right.
And and it's not only for musicians or kids in music, but anybody who has a certain income criteria that doesn't necessarily have the qualifications for other scholarships. It's like a just to add on, and that's kind of how I do my part too.
Well, you should throw in the
right.
heading for it should be Deku, right? Because
exactly. Yeah.
Failure is not an option, and here's incentive. Go for it. You've got dreams, make them happen. I'm going to just be there to give you a little rocket fuel to make it take off, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of motivation and inspiration and whatever else I can offer to help one of these kids go to college, or as many kids as I can.
Right.
Like I said, each year I'm trying to get other artists to come on board with it. Right. To write a song, and the profits from that go to this, and it's for tax purposes and all that other jargon. It's beneficial, but it helps people, and that's the end result and the end goal.
Yeah, and it's a phenomenal incentive, because there are people who are struggling, and especially now, what's going on both in your country and my own country. The economics are putting pressure on people in such drastic ways that people's dreams are being basically crushed. And this is sort of like a dream machine. This is kind of like,
exactly.
You still have them, don't let them go. Fight for them, and we'll help you out. We're there to sort of hold your hand and walk you out of that dark place and get you going where you need to go. And then from there, it's all on you, And if you want to get back afterwards, there's that, give
Sky's
it forward.
the limit after that, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And with some of these governments, and yours maybe too. I know mine is. They're forever doing spending cuts and budget cuts, and usually the first things that they cut are the budgets for the art and music programs.
Yep.
And that is I can't believe that.
Well, I mean, the focus they've got is education, and they think education is being able to read and do math. Mm-hmm. And what they fail to realize is that the arts is educating the spirit, the soul, the dreams, right?
Exactly.
If you don't have those, your 1984 automatons that sit at a desk, everybody's in black and white and gray, and you do your work because you can read and you can do math, and everybody works, and then you get up and you go home to your black and white box that you sit in.
Right.
There's no art, and there's no sound, and nobody smiles, and there is no music, because none of that is incentivized. None of that is around. And the few people that do it, it becomes criminal. Have you got a soul? That's criminal.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I totally agree.
So, the governments are putting that lever on. They've got that mechanism running. Good for them. It's people like you that are on the other side of the fence that go, you know what, arts and, anything, but dreams need to be supported as opposed to crushed. And let's keep each other alive, right? Let's keep music and art and dreams alive and moving forward.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, the more people I can get on board with this project, the more people we can help, the more inspiration we can grow, and and go from there.
And that's a phenomenal incentive. That's a phenomenal program. I mean, that to me, outside of the music that you do, and you have, like I said, you've got a plethora of music out there. There's so much of your music, and it's just that this is one thing better, one thing more that you're doing that is. It is music related, and that it's your songs that are doing this, that are creating this environment for people to grow through. But it's your heart that's doing this, and that that you have that kind of a spirit, that kind of a soul that says, you know what, I may be doing well, but I'd rather somebody else is doing well too. A lot of people, they want to do that, but they don't have the action. They don't have that what do I do? The impetus to drive them forward. And you seem to have taken that thought and you've made it a reality. You've said, this is how. And
well,
maybe
I'm trying. I'm just trying to do, I believe in helping others. And that's, the best way I can do that is where I have the most experience.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form I can help somebody, I would be more than honored to do it. And
I'm hoping that people that are listening to this, hopefully other artists are listening to this, our interview when it goes live, that they will hear this and say, I'm going to reach out to Thumper. I want to know what he's doing. I'm going to help. I want to be a part of this, because that would be phenomenal, that our little conversation spurs a movement.
Right. But it's kind of because of you that this opportunity has the option to grow, because without you doing this for me and other artists, we wouldn't be able to do anything.
No, I've seen what you've done without me. I am a conduit that opens the door up and says, let a lot of people hear about it. It's not like I'm actually doing much other than allowing you to have an opportunity to speak. I'm giving you a platform. I am, as I said,
and it's totally appreciated, and it's totally honored. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I thank you so much for that.
Well, I thank you, because you give inspiration, and I'm hoping that the inspiration will spread. I'm hoping that the whole movement will get greater traction globally simply by being this being seen, because we have an audience that is more than just our North American counterparts. It's across the globe, and people that know you have a following around the globe, and hopefully this conversation will get that kind of activity, people listening and word of mouth spreading, that maybe this movement will also get that kind of level of traction. I'm hoping. I am very hopeful. But let's talk about music. Right? Let's talk about music. Let's get you back on the music track.
Sure.
What's new? What's coming out from you? Because you are experimental. You are doing a number of different things. Have you gotten any collaborations coming up in the works? I know you do a lot of the work yourself, but I'm curious about, have you got something coming up in the works? Have you got some collaborations in the work? I know you spoke to me about earlier that maybe you might make a connection back with Christian Demisones, like I said before, and do the Detroit Funk City piece, which is that fusion bit. But what other things are you thinking of doing? What other kind of work are you looking at?
Right now, I'm working on a couple different projects. One of them is from another producer in New York, and we're collaborating on a kind of a classical rock piece.
Okay.
And with some of the kind of gives you the mind of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's more of an orchestral piece, with some rock and some funk rock in it, and a little bit of that flavor. And I'm working on that, and then a couple other projects. I'm trying to start up a tour. I want to get my tour started. I just played the Long Beach Jazz Festival this past August for the second year in a row, and I'm working on the Jazz Tracks Festival on Catalina Island. Okay. I'm talking to Mr. Art Good and a couple of his team members for the 2024 season, and quite a few other jazz festivals that are in the works, and I'm doing some negotiating and talking with those. I've got another piece of my own I'm working on called Bob, which is it's called it stands for Bring It On Back.
Oh, okay. Because
Bob, kind of an up-tempo dance tune, and I named it after my dad.
Okay.
My dad, he could not dance, but he had this little two-step thing that he did, and he did it well, but that was all he could do. So I incorporated that into this next track. So it was two to the left, two to the right, two up front, and two back. Right. And that little box he stayed in, and so I kind of incorporated that dance step into this next track. So it's
You need
so
to
yeah,
do.
I've got the lyrics. I mean the music recorded. I just have to put some finishing touches on it.
You need to put it into an album and have an accompaniment, another individual with you, and call it Bob and Weave. You know, and have the picture
I
on the
might just do that too.
you and the other individual looking like you're boxing in boxer shorts. Yeah, you're gonna go at it, Bob and Weave, and then the music is that kind of a two-steppy back and forth kind of thing. That'd be kind of cool.
Speaking of boxing, I do have a track I just released not too long ago. It's called TKO,
Really?
and it has a double meaning. It stands for transfer kindness to others,
Right.
but it also means together we can knock out and knock out homelessness, knock out hunger, knock out hate. So I released that one, and I play that a lot in the shows that I've been doing. And it's
When
been
did you release that?
fun.
Right.
This was November of last year, so it's almost a year old.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's on my website, and it's on YouTube and all those other ones. But it's more of a ballad. But yeah, it's getting a good positive response. So
Excellent. Speaking of what you had just mentioned about knocking out homelessness and so forth, your other nonprofit is Jazz Against Domestic Abuse, correct?
correct, Jada. I call it Jada.
Jada.
And then Jada is kind of similar to our Stars of Tomorrow, except when I play a concert, a portion of the proceeds go to nonprofit, or I mean not nonprofit, domestic violence or domestic abuse organizations in that city, and it's for domestic abuse awareness. It's to help build shelters for domestic abuse victims, and it helps and educational purposes for people who want to get out of domestic abuse situations. Right. They aren't sure how to do it. They're not sure where to go once they do get out, and it helps against, getting, restraining orders and things like that. Right. To protect themselves from their abusers if they don't have the money to go after them.
Right. And this was spurred on by what, like, to go in this direction? Was there something that made you go in that direction? A friend or someone who is part of your life that you went, you know what, I'm going to support this. I'm going to drive in this direction. Or is it just something that came into your head to say, this is the way I want to go. I want to do things like this.
Well, it wasn't necessarily a friend, although I do know of a few people, a few fans that were at one point in time were in that situation.
Right.
And my music helped them gain the strength and the courage to get out. And I was, they told me about it and that sort of thing. So it was then when I decided I'm going to, build this nonprofit and go towards education on how to get people out of it.
Right.
Because sometimes people, they want to get out, but they feel they'll end up on the streets with nothing, nowhere to go. So they end up going back. Right. And, that's kind of the what's the word I'm looking for? Incentive to help people in these situations. And it's not only domestic, but it's parental. It could be spousal. It could be teacher and student. It could be anything.
Right.
And so it's not really just directed towards one specific class.
So I'm awestruck, and I am honored to be in the presence of someone who music isn't just about you and doing things for fans. Your music has an undercurrent of support and philanthropy that is expansive. It's as though you don't only have a musical soul, you have a philanthropic soul that is eager and desires to be out there supporting and helping and educating and assisting in ways that a lot of artists, they hear about it, they might, they give money to a charity. You create them, you enable a charity and support it through your own work. And it's inspiring. I'm touched. I'm actually losing words to sort of describe this you're an individual that, I've talked with people that are producers and composers and writers, and some of them actually have been actors as well. None of them have been models apart from you. You're the prettiest one I've interviewed.
Oh, well, thank you.
But
I've broken a lot of cameras in my day. Don't be.
but the philanthropic side of you is enormous. It's I wouldn't call it a shadow because it's more of a light. It's like a beacon. I'm talking with you now, and your glasses have this sparkle to them, and it's almost as if there's that soul piece of you that's kind of shining through past the conversations about music. It almost makes the conversation about music a sideline. And for me, this is what this is about. It's about your music, but your music has this work on the side, this work that I sing a song or I go to a concert, and this is what I do with what my proceeds on certain occasions, right? And it's phenomenal. But I've spoken to other people, and I'll bring this up because I want to see your opinion of this. I want to get your take on it. There are people that they're looking for the Dave Brubeck effect. They're looking for Take 5. They want one song that is iconic. They want to produce one piece of music that for them, it's immediate. Like as soon as it's played, no matter where it's played, oh, that's Thumper.
Right.
One song, that's him. That's your name. That's an icon. Anywhere you hear it, it doesn't matter, 500 years from now, somebody will play that and they'll say, that's Thumper.
Yeah.
Or do you want to have what you've got, this string through everything, the tie that binds every song together? When you hear the song, that's you. You hear any song on the radio that you put together, it's you, because people will recognize the ozone inside the song, regardless of whether it's a classic rock piece, if it's classical music with some rock undertones, with some funk undertones, they will hear you in it and say, right, that's Thumper. Which way would you want to go? Would you want to be known as the Take 5 guy, the guy who has a song that is iconic, or do you want to be the underlying, this is everything that's yours is yours, that people recognize?
I want it all. I don't want to stop with just one, because there's so many people out here, and not one song is going to satisfy everybody.
Right.
So I said this in a recently award-winning documentary that came out this past April, that I want to inspire everybody, and people's problems inspire me, and not everybody has the same problem.
Right.
So if 10 people have 10 different problems, there's 10 different songs in here waiting to get out to help each and every one of them. And so, yeah, I want it all. I don't want to be a one-hit wonder or a one-man band. Yes, because I have the ability and I've been given the gifts to create it all.
Right.
But I enjoy working with bands just as much as I do working individually.
Right.
But I don't want the one song thing. I want it all.
But I mean, in Dave Brubeck's case, he has a large amount of music associated with him. When you hear it, oh, okay, this is Dave Brubeck's piece because his name is associated. But if you say the name Dave Brubeck, the first song that immediately kind of crawls out of your head is usually Take 5.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And that's the song that comes to mind immediately. In your case, apart from, the September Moon guitar piece that, everybody, when they hear that, and they're going to hear it later, they hear that, they're going to go, I love that. I love that guitar. Oh, my word. Put that, I'll play that whenever I'm in a mood. I need to hear that. But they'll hear other pieces of yours and go, oh, yeah, I love that piece. That kind of speaks to when I'm driving in traffic and I get cheesed off at the guy who cut me off. That's the music I want to listen to when that's happening. Or, I'm fishing down by the river. I want to play this music when I'm fishing down by the river because it's got that calm, cool kind of beat to it that just, that get attracted to.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I thank you because you're the one that did it. I'm just talking about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I mean, I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate, your insight on it. And that too inspires me to keep going, keep pushing and to keep doing my best to help people through their problems.
You've got stuff that's already on track and ready to drop soon?
The Bob is the next one. I've got a piece that I did, a demo piece that I did back in the early '80s that I've taken out of the refrigerator, so to speak, and I'm getting ready to put it back in the oven and cook it up with a new sound.
Okay.
And it had never been released. And I've had a few friends that told me, I don't know how they found this, but it was never released, but somehow it got put out. And this DJ from Toronto called me actually and said he was playing it in his club, and he had the people up dancing, and they were requesting this track. And it was just a demo piece. I had put it together and figured I would, put it on the shelf and finish it later.
Right.
And that, like I said, that was the late '80s.
Oh my word!
And I don't know how it got out or it got leaked or what. But like I said, he called me out of the blue, and so I'm gonna take that one out of the oven and finally finish it. And other than that, like I said, the documentary it has been submitted for Grammy submissions for consideration.
Fantastic.
And other than that, I've just been really focusing more on live performance.
Right.
But I've got to get back in here in the studio and get some things finished.
Right.
My latest track, Key to My Heart, went #1 in 6 countries, I believe. And it has, and so that one is, that was another one that had been submitted for Grammy consideration.
Goodness.
So it's it's a work in progress. But like I said, and as much turmoil and chaos that I've been seeing on the news, the inspiration has been, overflowing. So I got to get back on these pianos and these guitars and get some more stuff out.
Right. Fantastic. So do you prefer the live stage work, or do you prefer the work in the studio? Which for you is where your heart most resides?
It's a toss up because I love them both, but for different reasons.
Right.
I create them in the lab, so to speak, or in the kitchen, if you will, to inspire the people. But then the stage performance is the deliverance. Like it's so you go to Thanksgiving dinner, so to speak. You cook the meal at home,
right,
and then you take it to somebody else's house so they can eat. It's that kind of a concept. Okay. And the live performance is the deliverance part of it.
You get the immediate responses from people about how things work, and that's really good.
And not only that, but I get a lot of the emails, I get a lot of the text messages, the website comments and things like that. Your song helped me out of a tough situation, or we got married to your song, or this, that, or the other. So right. It's the feedback is what fuels me, negative and positive. Because if somebody doesn't care for something, then I'll fix it, or switch it, or you don't like that, try this, And it's the constructive criticism that helps me, along with the positive comments.
Right.
And it's all about, because everybody's not going to like the same song or have the same opinion of the same song.
Right.
And so, like I said, that's why I want my entire catalog to influence, somebody, if not everybody. And then you may have some that didn't like you before that hear something of yours recent, and they become a fan or a friend. I don't like to use the word fan, but I have friends.
Really?
My musical friends. Fan is short for fanatic, which means extensive obsession, and things of that nature. So I call them friends.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting insight, because I would have assumed a fan is just somebody who really appreciates the music, but they don't really know you. They love the music. They're there for the music. They're engaged with you at the time, but they don't know your life, and they probably never will. And that's a good thing because you're you outside of your music, although you seem to be this grand individual who's outside of your life, outside of your musical life, you're still doing things that are associated with music. Your philanthropy is the big picture of that. But your fans would be those people that enjoyed the musical part of your existence and may not even know about your philanthropy. They may not know you're doing any of this. They may actually have benefited from it and not know it was you, but they love the music.
But it's, excuse me, it's people like you that open that other door for people to get to know me. And like I said, I'm not a celebrity. I'm somebody a lot of people know, but I'm not a celebrity. So if anybody wants to reach out to me via email or however, I am completely open with that. I'm not one of those celebrities that, has, I mean, I do have my private life, mind you, but if somebody, needs me, I'm there. And like I said, through the music and past experience, I've helped a lot of people through a lot of good and bad situations. And I am grateful and honored that I was able to do that.
Just before we get to your song, as a quick aside, because people are wondering, Thumper, where would that come from? It's not a Bambi thing, is it? I mean, you're not a rabbit, are you? So where would a name like that come from?
Well, it is kind of a Bambi thing. When my mom was pregnant with me, whenever I heard music or whenever she was around music, I would go crazy, and she was a big fan of the Disney movies.
Okay.
So it did kind of come from there, but I was always known as her little Thumper even before I was born. And so she kind of put that name on me, and I didn't like it at first. I really didn't care for it. And then, after a while, I just started to get used to it and, just kind of ran with it. And from the music thing, kind of put two and two together, so to speak. Yep. Then, it became a reality, so to speak.
Well, it's the pots and pans reality, right?
Exactly.
You took Thumper and applied it to pots and pans, and then they went, "Oh, we never should have called him that."
Right. Yeah.
Well, now we're going to hear from you because right now I'd like to introduce the music of Thumper Samuels with September Moon. Enjoy. what I want to say is I want to thank you for being a part of this conversation today, Thumper. It was an absolute pleasure for me. I cannot wait for Bob. I'm looking forward for Bob and potentially Bob and Weave, the album. But I'm really looking forward to all the music that's coming out. I'm really excited to hear the Siberian Orchestra style of music that you've got coming. That's a project that I definitely have an ear out for because, like I say, I love it when an artist goes ever so slightly out of their comfort zone and tries something different.
Yeah.
I'm also looking forward to Detroit Funk City with you and potentially Christian Demisones, although with him, with his axe that he has, his axe bass, his Kiss bass.
We talked about that too. I told him that you had mentioned that he had that Gene Simmons axe bass, and I called him. I said, you keeping secrets from me?"
And how do
I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to him really quick. Sure. He was responsible for getting me into the Recording Academy, the 2023 Recording Academy class, and because of him and one other young lady, Denise Miller, I was able to submit my documentary for Grammy, and also The Key to My Heart for a Grammy. So he's a big influence of mine, a great friend, and I just wanted to give him a shout out for. Well, I've never met him face to face, but we talk all the time, and we're planning, like I said, Detroit Funk City and some other projects that we're talking about. So I just want to give him a shout out real quick. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and we will be talking again, I hope, very soon.
Oh, I'm here whenever you need me.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, my friend. Have a good day, and tell everybody thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.